8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I made the theme tune, I sung the theme tune, I created the theme tune. I love my theme tune. I haven't done any at all input into it. It was all Mag Brad's, but I just, that's such a funny little sketch if you've ever seen it before, to do with Minder. I don't know if anyone knows it, but it was brilliant. I sing the theme tune, I wrote the theme tune. But anyway, welcome to the NUFC Banter transfer show on Through Black and White Eyes. Just had a bit of a funny start. Please hit the subscribe button if you enjoy it. Please consider becoming a member. The link is on top of the chat, as everybody knows. If anyone needs any coastal carpentry and joinery work, Glenn Middis is the man for you. If you need any smellies, I use them all the time. They're actually really nice and they're really, really cheap. Please contact Claire. And they're sold out. Poof! Gone. Gone. All of them. Unless anyone wants a refund, then I'm fucked. Let's bring Gary in. We've got Maro coming in later on. How's it going, Gary?
Spot on, mate. Bit warm, like, but
it is scorching.
28
degrees in the afternoon. Hit 31 in York. Working in a factory, having to wear a jumper, trousers, you name it. Horrible.
Right. Yep. I'll be cooking tomorrow when I come back.
I've got horrible. Ugh. Yeah, and even just sitting at home, I was at the back door and I was still sweating. I was just like, I can't cope with this. I'm not built for this.
No, I can't do it.
I'm English. I burn. I'm half ginger. No. Crying out loud.
I mean, look at that, man. Look at that.
Way. That's a good tan, though.
Oh, it's been out all day.
Look at me. Look how white I am. That I'm whiter than white. Got that normally when I go red, I've got really white top arms. I look like that chewy sweet. I forget what they call Mau Wows or whatever they're called.
Mau Wows.
Do you ever watch Minder back in the day?
No.
You don't watch it?
No. No, I've heard of it, but I'm not. No.
It's a funny sketch.
I was into loads of comedies, like, because I've got BritBox and that, and I love watching BritBox.
Yeah, you have to watch Minder. It's a good one. Dean says, hey all. Dean's been messaging me all day trying to get information. I've told him everything we're going to talk about tonight, to be honest with you. There's not a lot, but there's some interesting information and developments today. Evening, guys. Fingers crossed for exciting news. Sorry, Mark. I've just ruined that for you. Evening all, Thomas. 2 nights in a row. What's going on? The missus is going to be forming with you, mate. Evening, everyone. Hi, bars from Jan. Thanks for joining as always, Jan. Hey, Blade again. Good evening, guys. Can't wait to hear some news. Oh, God. Everyone's getting excited and there's not a lot. Evening, bars. Hope you had a good weekend. I didn't. I was at work all weekend, but Newcastle got a point, so I was very happy. Were you happy with a point, Gary?
Oh, delighted. Any point at Brighton's a good point.
Evening, Terry. That Minder.
I had a feeling, I had a feeling.
I love it. Sorry, again, the point was great, wasn't it?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, any point at Brighton's a good point. We didn't win at our best. Defence was on top. Pope was on top. Yeah, come away with a draw from there, because there'll be a lot of teams who get beat at Brighton.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Plenty of them. And I bet you'll be one of the big ones now. So... Yeah. Man United got beat there 4-0 end of last year. Might not now, that's no special at the minute.
Well, when Brentford do it.
I've always said this, especially at our stage where we're at, any point away from home is a good result.
Yeah, definitely. And if you go through the stats on SofaScore or wherever you get your stats from, if you look at them in detail, both defences were on top for both
Yeah.
sides. They both had the
Yeah.
highest scores. So that tells you, what kind of game it was. It was quite an entertaining 0-0. There was chances, there was drama. Nothing like the game today in the Chelsea Spurs game, though. Jesus
corker
Christ,
that
that was
one.
tasty, wasn't it?
Oh, it was corker that.
Both managers sent off. Crazy. Harry Kane with a late equaliser. I was just like, oh, it had to be Harry Kane, didn't it?
It's like Wenger and Fergie all over again, then. Honestly, but you know what it is? I love it. Like,
I do.
honestly,
Love to
give
see
me
passion.
that passion like that. Tuchel's got he's got it in abundance of passion in him. You know what it is? He's Fergie and Conte's Wenger.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, I mean, I think they're both fiery. Conte was a little bit more reserved, but like Tuchel on the touchline, on his knees, heads in hands when misses were going. I mean, Chelsea should have buried Spurs, to be honest with you.
To be honest, there was we were going on about Callum Wilson's, disallowed goal the other day. There was a few of them in that game that day.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't realize getting pulled down by his hair, which led to the top and goal. I mean, how was that not a foul? Like, he literally yanked him down like that. And there was a few other things, like, I can't remember what they were now. But it was just bad. I was one
sliding tackle. That led
was
to the Spurs equaliser. Do you think it was a foul? Looked a foul. But then when he saw from a certain angle, he got the ball.
Yeah.
But we had one of them in the game on Saturday where we challenged from behind, but clearly took the ball. Then he took the man afterwards, and the referee gave a free kick. You're like,
to be honest, the goal still come 45 seconds after that foul, so didn't make much difference. The game, but it was the offside for Richarlison.
Yeah,
and to me,
he was offside, wasn't he?
Yeah, and if he was he was right in the goalkeeper's line. So how was that not interfering with play? I mean, you've got people like Souness, like, trying to say this, and you've got Carragher going, I think it's alright, there was no wrong with it. But he's literally in the goalkeeper's line, so how is he not affected?
Remember Tiotes against City?
Yeah, exactly.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Cesare, thanks for joining as well. Thomas and Cesare in the house, modern, that's amazing. Hi all, remember to keep comments respectful. Please no caps or duplicate comments. Carl's back in the house. He's a hard man to please, Carl. He actually enjoyed our show though, so he's back again. We need Sean Casey in the no t-shirt merchandise. Do you know what it is? I will ask John. John has been absent for a little bit because his whole household's had COVID, and he's been working non-stop with all the big racing being on, and he's going to be at your keyboard doing a lot of work, and after that he's then back straight on the channel again. So we are going to try and get our merchandise sorted, the t-shirts and the hoodies that we promised, and we'll ask him to make a Sean Casey in the no t-shirt merchandise just for you, Carl. Gary is too young for mine. Yeah, I know. I keep forgetting he's a young pup compared to me. And smash that 40.
So my pop.
Oh yeah, I thought you were younger.
No, I'm 40 now.
It's that tan.
No, I'm not. I'm 30 now.
You're close.
I'm close. But I look average for my age, I'm not gonna lie.
Brilliant. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, guys. That is a big thing for the algorithm. Thomas is in the house. She's sleeping. That'll be well. I'm not surprised, carrying twins, mate. She'll sleep a lot. You'll also get shouted at a lot, and you'll get blamed a lot.
Yeah,
this is your fault.
How dare you do that?
Yeah, exactly. And then when they're kicking and stretching her, and she's in pain, she'll be wanting to punch you. Trust me, I've been there.
Yeah.
Walking away with a point after the way Brighton played is a great result. Well said, Mark. Hi, Baz, Gary. Hope there is good news. Brighton match a very hard and great point on an away game. It was. We'll get to the end of the comments and then we'll start. We're nearly there. Why is ASM pulling ball back to the 18-yard box if it is something that is getting worked on in training? Someone is not reading the script. It's a very valid point. Would you prefer Conte or Tuchel if given the chance? Oh, that's a tough question.
Conte.
Yeah, I
love Conte. Honestly, I do. I wanted Conte. Like, he was my dream manager when the takeover happened. There's just something about him. You know, he's got. Can you imagine him at St. James's on a big night going like that to the crowd and all that? Nothing against Eddie, mate. I'm not telling Eddie to get out the club or out like that. But it would be.
I like the way Tuchel plays football though. Chelsea were humming today in the first half, especially.
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
Tottenham just lost the midfield battle in the first half. They just got steamrolled by Chelsea's midfield.
Yeah, and the wing backs because they were so high up, weren't they? They just couldn't get out.
Chelsea passed the ball so fluid and quick at times, but how many times we've seen Chelsea like on top form and then all of a sudden they'll just hit an absolute blip, and it happens every year. And at some point they'll hit another blip.
Yeah. So would you take 40 million for ASM? We're going to talk about that later, Cal. Only 40, you're a baby. I know. I'm really not though. I might be to some people, but I don't feel 40. I feel 80 some days. Good evening, boys, from Dougie. Thanks for joining, Dougie. I prefer Conte won more as a manager. Obviously, there is that. Even by the way, people got to be happy with a draw at the Amex. I was ecstatic with a draw. I know it sounds daft to say that it was ecstatic for a draw, but we're not the club that can go to Brighton and really put our foot in the game and be on top all the way through it, Gary. Yeah? We're not a Man City. We're not a Liverpool. We're a team still in transition. Brighton finished in the top half of the table, and rightly so with the players they had. They did lose a couple, which kind of give me a little bit of hope, but Graham Potter's still there, and he's got them playing as a unit, playing good football, very dangerous. I mean, like I say, I was ecstatic for a point in the end, especially the way the game panned out.
Yeah, I was delighted. Got to remember, Brighton are a bloody good side, and they've got a cracking manager. A bloke, you know what it is? If I was Man United owners, I would have went and got Graham Potter.
There we go. Let's get that trending.
Potter for England. I mean, if Southgate doesn't win the tournament this at the end, that man is going to get offered the job.
Yeah.
I'll be absolutely amazed.
Potter for England. If Cabbage Seed was in charge, it would have been a different result. Exactly. This is what we got to remember as well. That we got hammered at the Amex 2 years ago, 3-0, and I thought we were going down after that result. Fancy, I've not heard the results as I'm watching it on Match of the Day. Shut up. Brighton will upset some top teams. Well, they already. Well, I mean, Man United aren't a top team anymore, the Jan, so we'll leave that one out of it.
They don't, especially at home. They never get stuffed, do they? Brighton.
No.
Very rarely get stuffed. It doesn't matter who they play, even if they play Man City. They very rarely get stuffed.
Oof, there's a tough one. Potter or Conte if Eddie went?
Conte.
See, I'll be more edging towards Potter.
No,
I honestly think he's that good of a manager.
Oh, I think Potter's a cracking manager, but
I'm thinking long-term jeopardy as well, where Conte doesn't really give you that. He'll give you maybe 2-3 years. I think Potter would give you 5 to 7.
I think Conte is the next step for where PIF want to go.
Yeah. True.
So he's the man who can get you the top foreign talent. You know what I mean? Potter, I don't know. But is Potter? I mean, he has one for you. Would you pick Eddie or Potter?
Eddie.
There you go.
I think they're very similar.
Yeah, they're very similar, but you would pick Eddie. So to me, Potter's a backward step to Eddie. So it's Conte for me.
True. As we were hammered at home 3-0. Were we? I thought we were hammered at the Amex 3-0 when we went to... I'm sure it was the Amex.
When?
2 years ago when Bruce was in charge and we nearly got relegated.
Oh, God. Do you know what it is? It's a blur under Bruce for me.
Yeah, there it is. Look, 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
And we got hammered 3-0 at home as well in the same season. So there we go. It was 2 3-0 wins. So we're both right.
I like to keep Bruce's tenure out of my mind, to be honest.
Yeah, I know,
it's a
me
complete blur for me.
So there you go. Both in the same season, we got beat 3-0 home and away. And then we got that 1-1 draw last season. We beat them 2-1 at home under Eddie Howe. And Eddie Howe was unbeaten against Potter because he's beat him and he's drawn with them. So there we go. I'm glad I've still got these slides and different stuff now that I do. And there we go. And we're back in the house. Back at St. James's Park. But there we go. Potter, because you worked with Dan the Man. I mean, that would work really well, thinking about that as well. Obviously, he's got a very good working relationship with them and trusts them to bring in the players that works for his system. So, Eddie's a little bit different system. So maybe Dan, the man, is maybe trying to work out what works best for him potentially. Manchester City and Newcastle, the only two Premier League teams who still have not conceded a goal this season. 0-0 weekend, and I wish.
I wish.
Just let's not play the game. We'll just 0-0.
Right, take it now.
Exactly. When was the last time you've seen Man U at the bottom of the league? It's 101 years since they last lost the first two home games. I think that's what's meant to say. I love it. I do as well.
I wouldn't care. They've got Liverpool next.
I know, and they could lose 3 in a row easily, couldn't it?
You know what it is? You know how some teams just turn it on after 2 bad results against their rivals? The difference between them two sides is absolutely enormous. So, do you know, if Liverpool score in the first 5 minutes, that'll be it.
Hello, guys.
Honestly.
I reckon it'll be 5-6-0, won't it?
Yeah, if Liverpool, I tell you what, Klopp will go to Liverpool players and can you get one in the first 5 minutes and you have won this game.
Yeah.
Honestly, because they will fall to bits and the crowd will be on them straight away.
Who's at home? Is it Old Trafford?
Man United, that's the problem. If it was at Anfield, I know this sounds bizarre, I think Man United would probably do a bit better. But because it's at Old Trafford, if they go down in 5-10 minutes, that's it.
Fans will be all over them.
Fans will be gone, the players will hit the deck, that'll be it. Honestly, they're in trouble.
They are in massive trouble. Talking about Brucey is like bringing up an old ex that's now a crackhead. 1992. Confused on that one, unless that was the last time Man United were bottom of the league, which it could be.
Yeah, it is. It's when they won the title.
Was it?
Yeah, they were bottom after about 2 or 3 games, and then they went on to win the title.
Mate,
that's never going to happen this year, but
no, it's not. Definitely not. We're going to talk about that as well, Dean. Matt getting a round of applause. If Bruce could get a 2-2 draw against him, I'm sure Eddie can do better. It's a different situation, though, isn't it? Let's just wait and see. Come on, guys, stop talking about Potter. No, Potter for England. It's as simple as that. It's going along the bottom. What do you think? Botman playing left back. Botman didn't play left back. It was Burn. Burn did. Botman played left centre back. We got Eddie, so we stick with him all the way. Maro's in the house.
Hello.
Glad to see John Dodd Thomason beating Cabbagey today. Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They might be wanting to recall Henderson if De Gea keeps playing like yesterday. Yeah, it was a shocking mistake. Let's get rid of that banner now because it does people's heads in. Right, now you're here, Maro. We can start talking about the real stuff. We've just been filling in until you got here, just talking about the result and, about shit you. Oh, man.
Sorry, guys, for being late. I had some work-related things. So.
Yeah. Life comes first. I've always said this to anyone who does anything for this channel. Family first, work, everything. This comes last. It's just great to have you on as always.
Cheers, thanks.
Let's talk about this. We talked briefly about it a little bit on Friday night with Mike about who we would take, but these are realistic. Potentially could be targets for us near the end of the window if things don't go our way. We might as well talk about the full 11. Do we really need a goalkeeper? I don't think we do, but Ben Foster's not a bad backup, is he, Gary? When you think about him, he's got a great podcast, so there's another good reason.
Depends if we keep Dubravka.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If Dubravka goes, would you consider bringing Foster in for a year, maybe on a free transfer? No?
No. Not for me. Don't think he's any better than Dolo. He might have been a few years ago, but not now.
Interesting. What about you, Maro?
If Dubravka goes, I think he wouldn't be a bad option. I don't trust Darlow as much as Gary. I think he's past Premier League quality. Foster is a good keeper, so if Dubravka goes, I really hope he doesn't. But if he goes, if he would take a let's say, normal wage, not anything big, I think he would be a good squad player.
Yeah, I think so as well. But again, I want to be on his podcast.
It's that one.
Definitely. Sergio Aurier, he's a bit of a strange one. He cost a lot of money, didn't he? And now he's a free transfer. Maro, what do you make of that situation?
It's strange to find him without the club for so long. I think he's a decent player. Not sure whether I would take him for Newcastle, but I think he could be a good option for a mid-table team in England.
Is this true? Quixote signed for Forest? I've not heard that, but someone might have.
Somebody has. Might everybody have.
Well, that's true.
Do you know what it is? You know, looking at them players, there's a reason why nobody's took them yet.
Gary knows his keepers because he's shared Givens love choice.
Exactly.
He is.
I mean, there's a reason why they've not really signed us because, I mean, Marcelo is getting on.
Yeah.
You know, Mata's getting on. Cavani's getting on. Delph is definitely getting on. Quixote sounds like he's signed for Forest. Januzaj, hit and miss. Belotti, though.
The only one I don't get is Belotti.
Yeah.
Cavani, I can see Cavani going somewhere like in the Argentinian league or somewhere like that. Belotti, I don't understand because not one Italian team's took a punt on him yet. And that scares me a bit because I would have took Belotti a few weeks ago. But now I'm thinking, why is none of these Italian teams buying him? They're just at the end of their careers.
He's at the end of his career, isn't he?
They're at the end of their career. I mean, Fabian Delph for me never really got started. Januzaj, hit and miss at Man United, didn't really do much. And I think the guy might be right. I think he did go to Forest. But I can't, off the top of my head, say it was definitely him, but it might be. But just what I think.
Well, what about you, Maro?
For me, biggest surprise there is Jason Denayer. I think he's still a really good centre back. I think he's about 26 or something. So he's not old like most other players on this list. And I find it strange that he hasn't either renewed with Lyon or signed for some other club until now. Januzaj, as you guys said, he's hit and miss. He has one great season, one terrible one, so it's big risk. Maybe Juan Mata wouldn't be a bad choice for us if we don't manage to bring any other targets, or he could be a decent squad player, I guess. And Belotti is strange. I think he prefers Italy, but it's strange that nobody signed him yet because he was linked with Milan and a couple of really good teams at the beginning of the summer. So it's strange he's still available. And Cavani also, as Gary said, will probably go to either Argentina or Uruguay, return home. But I would take him if we don't get our first target. I think he still has a season in him in England. I think one good season.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. It's just an interesting 11, though, isn't it? How well do you think they would do as a team in the Premier League? Where do you think they would finish, Maro?
I think they would be a decent team between 10 and 15th position. They could make.
What about you, Gary?
I think they'd fight relegation.
Yeah, well, 15th, I suppose, is relegation. Relegation fighting, isn't it?
I just think, look, Marcelo, one of the best left backs ever to grace the game, no doubt about that. But 35 now. 35 now. Cavani.
And
do you know what? He's a great player. Fantastic player.
He still did it in the Premier League when he was given the chance at Man United, didn't he?
Yeah. I just, I think, like I said, I just think there's a reason why none of them have been touched yet. And they will find clubs. Most of them do, but... There
we go. Forest, Quixote and Dennis, as we know. We know about Dennis. I didn't know about Quixote, though.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Jan says should only take Belotti. I'd probably take Marcelo just because it's Marcelo.
If it was maybe 5 years ago, he was world class, really. But he's old and he hardly played the game in the last 2-3 seasons. So I just think he would need a lot of time to get back to the fitness and match fitness and everything.
I mean, out of all of them on there, Marcelo for me is the best by a mile. Absolute mile. Especially 5 years ago. But I don't know. I could be well wrong here, but I think I've watched some games early in the season so far. Watched the Forest game today against West Ham. And that team, to me, that side would fight relegation because there's a lot of hard work, and this is going to be a tough Premiership season.
It is.
I'm telling you, you're going to need the squads because of the 5 substitution. You're going to need to be lucky with injuries because there's some Forest ran their socks off today. I still don't know how West Ham couldn't get in the back of the net, but Forest ran
as well, didn't
they cleared off the line and everything. So for me, that team would fight relegation. It might even go down.
Yeah, probably. And congratulations to Forest getting their first win today in front of the home crowd. It was a bit of a lucky goal, but hey, you take it as your first win. Brian, welcome back. Thank you for coming. Remember, you said you were going to do that, and he says, "How much have I missed?" You not really missed a lot. Being Gary, we're rabbiting on about Minder for a little bit, talking about the result, and we're just talking about the 11 free transfers that are available if we would take any of them. And I think everyone's in their mind that maybe Cavani would be a last-ditch effort if we needed a spare striker, and Belotti would all take him, but we just don't understand why he's still a free transfer, to be honest with you. But that's where we're up to. There's going to be a lot more to discuss and talk about. Exactly, Forest was strong. They did play well. I was really impressed with Johnson.
Yeah, for a team that have bought so many players as they have, they look quite settled at times. I think that, people might disagree, but I think they rode their luck at times because West Ham missed a penalty. They had a goal disallowed. They had one cleared off the line. They hit the ball, which hit the underside and went onto the line. So Henderson had some saves, so they did ride that luck a bit, and they're not going to be that lucky every game. But it's like I said to that Forest fan a couple of weeks ago, forget about your away games, win your home games, and you'll stay in this league. Yeah. And that's what they've got to do. Keep doing what they're doing, winning at the home ground. And the way the Forest players spoke after the game, they knew that as well.
Yeah,
they said we need to make this place a fortress,
which everyone does. You got to win your home games to stay in this league. You've also got not a throwaway 2-goal leads as well. Leeds. Yeah. Just thought I'd just bring that up very quickly because a lot of Leeds fans I work with, and I just wanted to take the piss just once. I took the mick out of one of them. He's really, really canny lad in that night. But I walked up to him and I just showed him my phone. It was my Super 6. And I went, "Look, you boys did me proud today. 2-2. He just started clapping. I was like, yes. It sets up a Newcastle win against the Hammers. Do you know what it is? It's actually a great result for us, West Ham getting beat, because we're going to be challenging them according to all the form books and about where everyone thinks West Ham are going to finish. And I'm actually all up for West Ham dropping points this early, as with Man United as well, because it really helps us to build a bit of a gap.
I don't know if people might agree with me in the comments, but that number 6 place is up for grabs. And if we go out and get 2 or 3 players before the end of the window, we can seriously go for that. I truly believe that, honestly. Man United, nowhere near the team they were. West Ham are another one who are going to go for it. Possibly Brighton, but I cannot see Brighton, but still a good side. Villa have just lost Carlos today.
Yes, for full season, potentially.
Yeah, bad injury. So, I don't know. I'm just not sure on Villa. I wasn't sure on them last season, and I'm not sure on them this season.
I never thought they'd be challenging for that top 6. I thought it would be Wolves, West Ham, Man United, us, Leicester.
Do you know, mate? He's probably can't believe I'm going to say this.
Go on, then.
Palace might.
Ooh, don't say that in front of Steve.
I know. But you cannot deny that Palace have got some pacey, good young players.
They have, but
they've got some cracking.
They lost the first game.
Oh, it was Arsenal. Arsenal are a good side. And
And they're playing Liverpool Monday.
Liverpool next.
It's
But,
a hard start for them.
oh,
And that rot sets in a little bit, doesn't it? The losing streak, you know, these things can happen. So, but you are right. Palace played some good stuff under Vieira last season. So,
But
yeah, it's a shout.
we can seriously push that top 6. I'm telling you, we just need a couple of players, 2 or 3.
I think everyone says the same thing, to be honest with you. Maro, are you on the same boat?
Yes, I like the team. I think they have a great manager in Vieira, and the way they play, and some of their players are. I can see them challenging, and I'm at the moment. How would I say, more afraid of them than I think they are bigger threat to us than Manchester United or Aston Villa or Leicester, as you mentioned. So I agree that the fight for 6th position is open, and if we bring at least 2 players, we have a really good chance.
I love it. Right, the first little bit of news. This doesn't come to a surprise to me, but apparently Chelsea have put a bid in. Not Chelsea. Who is it? No, that's Gordon.
No, Gordon. Chelsea put a bid in for Gordon.
But we're interested in Gallagher because of that, which makes it very interesting. Gallagher on loan or 35 million is what Steve texted this morning at 16 minutes past 8 this morning. I got all this information, and I've been at work and haven't been able to do anything with it. And I've been hoping nothing comes out, but I think all of it's all over Twitter, to be honest with you, which is really frustrating. But who cares? You know, you guys all know what's going on, and we can talk about it a bit more. So Gallagher loan or 35 million. I would like to see Gallagher as a loan and an option, or an option to buy or an obligation to buy at the end of the season, Gary. That's how I would like us to do it.
Well, about 5 hours ago, I was like a bit like, oh, what we're going to talk about today, you know?
Yeah.
But after what happened at the game today, this afternoon, that got my interest up.
Yes.
This
happened.
Yep. Now, I thought it was fake to begin with. And then when I saw it was real, because I've had a few questions as well, people asking me what I thought of it and all that. And my opinion is, why would them 2 be there, right? Yeah. After being at the game yesterday, just to go and watch Chelsea play football, right? Yes, they could be there to draw connections between the 2 clubs. Could be anything like that. But, and then I got a few questions of people saying, well, that's Dan Ashworth's job. And I said, yes, but my dad has worked deals, Target. I'm sure he was heavily involved in that one. Botman, he was heavily involved in that. Ashworth could be sorting Ramos out for all we know. Yeah. Ashworth was at Brighton yesterday. He could have been at Chelsea today. We just don't know. But they are quite capable of getting a Chelsea player. And apparently the bloke on the picture, my dad knows him. Right?
Right. So it is very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. So if anybody can strike a deal with a Chelsea player, it's them 2.
Yeah.
No.
And they've been saying it's top 7 now as well, with us joining it. And Chelsea are the ones who have been saying that and have invited us to this top 7 club, so top 6. The other thing that was really interesting, that somebody mentioned a while ago, I don't know how true it is, but the Saudis invested in a company that have invested into Chelsea's buyout. So technically the Saudis might actually own part of Chelsea, which frightens me a little bit, because Chelsea would be the big boys and we would be the little boys. And I don't like that at all, but it's all hearsay. Is it true? Is it not true? But they're at the Chelsea game.
Well, the Premiership, there's no chance the Premiership would allow that go through with it as an issue. Absolutely no chance. PIF own 80% of this football club. They don't own whatever they're involved in or what company it is. We're the main side would. So the minute I saw them 2 at the game the day, I thought there's something going on here.
Yeah,
absolutely, 1,000,000%. And
it could, when I,
that bench right, when I looked at the bench today, I picked 5 players that they could be potentially talking about.
Yeah.
There was 5 of them on there. And as for Gallagher,
I like Gallagher.
I like Gallagher. I think he had a cracking season at Palace. I'm not sure he's worth 35 million, right? He's still young, but if we could get him on loan with an obligation to buy at the end of the season, just say for 30 million, put it in the contract. If anybody can get Gallagher playing superb football, it's Eddie Howe.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that type of name has got Eddie Howe written all over it again. And
he seems to have the right attitude, doesn't he? Because we saw that at Palace.
Yeah, he's desperate to play. When he come on the day for 5 minutes, you could tell. Made a few little mistakes, but it's because he's so desperate to play. He just wants to play football. He wants to go to the World Cup.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been racking my brain. I've changed between players all day, like Chelsea players and all that. I've done it with them, and it could literally be any of them, but I would definitely take Gallagher.
Yeah, me too.
1,000,000%.
Yes, to Gallagher says, how's the bacon? Madison, Gallagher, or Paqueta. We're going to talk about all 3 of them. Gallagher looks perfect for us, hard worker and an end product. Yeah, he would be that compensation for Shelby, won't he?
Yeah,
Shelby been out for so long. One good season, 35 million, Norway. But again, he's only had one breakthrough season. That's all he can go off. So and they've slapped the price tag on because of his potential. Just like Ramos. Ramos has only had one good season, and they're slapping a big price tag on him as well. You've just got to remember, these clubs know what they've got their hands on.
I did hear somebody say the day because Kante pulled his hamstring by the looks of it. That means Gallagher could be like... I disagree with that because I think Chelsea are going to go out and buy De Jong anyway.
Yeah.
Right, and I think Chelsea will play football manager like they're doing and just go and buy a defensive midfielder if they have to. But there's only so many times you can keep doing this. And I'm not saying it's a money problem at FFP, but they're going to have to cut that squad because it's too big. They've got far too many players and they've got too many quality players who aren't getting any minutes at all. So
I think they have 34 at the moment.
34? God.
Yeah, so they've literally got to thin the squad out, haven't they? So there is a lot of players up for grabs. They're all quality players, and every single one of them will improve our squad, not without a shadow of a doubt. But Maro, what's your thoughts on Gallagher?
I like him. A really good player, really high potential, hardworking. Would really be good for our system. And you know that I'm a huge Paqueta fan, but if he's not available this summer, I would really welcome Gallagher with open arms. Sorry.
You'll open your eyes and open your arms.
Yeah. As you said, it could be a number of reasons for Amanda being there today. It could be just to get better relations with them, or with probably 4 or 5 different players that we were linked with. It can be Pulisic, it can be Gallagher, it can even be Callum Hudson-Odoi. I would take any of those 3. And as I said, if Paqueta is a no-go, I would take Gallagher with open arms.
Yeah.
I have got a bit of a theory.
Come on.
You know Gordon.
Theory.
You know Gordon, Anthony Gordon, right? I've got a sneaky feeling this deal's going to happen, right? Or Chelsea wouldn't have made the bid. I've heard that Gordon wants to leave Everton, and I've heard this a few times. I could be wrong. I'm no Everton fan, right? But and I've got a feeling that Broja could go to Everton.
Ooh, that is a bit of a theory.
Yeah,
and they are desperate for a striker.
Or Hudson-Odoi. I think Chelsea are going to strike a deal up for him with the money, and they're going to send Hudson-Odoi or Broja there on loan, or a buy, or part of the deal, or something like that. So that's why I think Hudson-Odoi and Broja. I'm not sure it's them, one of them.
It could be both.
Could be both. Purely based on the fact that Gordon they've put a bid, and I know Everton are interested in them too. Odoi and Broja.
Well, the information I've got going is we've also tested Everton over Anthony Gordon and left a verbal offer. So we've also put a verbal offer in for him. We heard about Gordon about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, didn't we? That we were interested in. I personally like Gordon. I think he's young. He's got a lot to learn, but he's got the tenacity. He's got the attitude. He's got something about him that says to me he's going to be a very good football player. And if he gets Eddie Howe's arm around him, I think that'll only improve him even more.
Reminds me of Bellum.
Yeah, exactly. He's got that attitude, hasn't he? You just need to mould it correctly, and you've got a really good player on your hands. He was very unlucky to be offside for his goal. He was in the right areas, like Bellamy was, in front of the goalkeeper, making himself a hassle. But he's got quality as well. We saw that against us when they beat us 1-0. He was all over the place, and he was pulling strings. And he's only 18, 19, isn't
he? 20 Maro, isn't
he? 20, I think it's 20 or 21.
20 or 21.
He's only broke on the scene recently, hasn't he? So that's what I mean. He's still young in that sense in Premier League years. So I think he'll be a cracking signing.
I think 40 million. Right? See, Souness disagrees because I've just heard him.
All right.
he thinks it's a lot of money for a player who's played as many games as him, right? But when you think about it in today's market, £40 million for a young footballer who's got loads of pace, is it too much? Morgan Gibbs-White was going to go for £40 million.
Yeah, exactly.
And but I have to admit, if we have put a verbal offer on, and Chelsea have done the same, I cannot see him picking us over Chelsea.
Yeah. The other thing that might happen is Chelsea are testing the water to get the bid accepted, and we could then just come in and take the deal off them because they might not actually. This is why all these conversations are happening with Newcastle and Chelsea.
You just don't know.
It could be a ploy, couldn't it?
Well,
it could be a ploy for us to take Gordon and then Chelsea to be able to loan 2 players to Everton because they desperately need them.
Well, that bloke on the picture with Amanda, I'm sure he's the guy who said, I could be wrong, he's the guy who said Newcastle are now the top 7.
Yeah.
So that was in the article a couple of weeks ago. So there could be something. There's something going on. They're not going to go to that game just to watch Chelsea play, man. There's something going on.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on. Maro, what's your thoughts on Gordon? Would you take him at Newcastle if he doesn't go to Chelsea?
Personally, I would not. But I do agree with everything you guys just said. I think he has a potential and everything, but I just don't like him. Not because of his diving and other. I don't know. I just not a big fan of him. So I hope he goes to Chelsea before us.
But what happens if he becomes a star? You'd be devastated. You said that.
Maybe it could prove me wrong, but I don't know. Just not a fan. Similar to Richarlison, he's a great player and everything. I just never been a fan of him too.
Yeah, but Everton in it. Should get Danjema. I don't know if he's an option at the moment for us or not. We haven't heard his name for a while.
He hasn't played. He's been on the bench last couple of games for Villarreal, so. Could be that he has some fitness problems, but could also be that he's not the first option anymore.
Yeah, and he's played under Eddie Howe before and at Bournemouth, didn't he? So, yeah, I mean, we talked about him a while ago, but nothing's ever came back about it, so it'll be interesting. Let's carry on with the Chelsea theme. There's 3 players, obviously, up for loan as well, Ziyech, Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi. I would love Pulisic for 2 reasons. He is a quality player, but also because of FFP, the amount of shirts that guy sells in America, he's a dream bought for someone like the new CEO who's coming, who's there to raise our brand, and cracking America would be perfect for us. We've got a decent fan base over there already, Gary, but this guy sells shirts like sweets to a kid.
Yeah, I heard he was absolutely massive in America. It doesn't matter where he plays. It doesn't matter if he played for us, Gillingham. Nothing against Gillingham. AC Milan, Barcelona, you name it, that bloke will sell shirts over in America. Because of the Gordon thing, I think there's potential it's him.
Yeah.
I think if the comment below is true that Everton have rejected the first bid, Chelsea will go in with something else and they'll offer a player.
Yeah.
Whether that's Adoy as a replacement or whether that's Brozier because they're interested, it'll be one of those.
Or
Now,
both.
yeah, possibly. So, out of all the Chelsea players that we're linked with at the minute, I think Pulisic's the more likely one. It just depends whether he wants to come.
I don't know why you wouldn't, to be fair. Get to play
You just
football.
don't know. Yeah, he might be desperate just to get in there, just get back in playing. You just don't know, do you? But another reason I'm not sure is because we seem to have changed to a centre mid over a right winger, and Pulisic's obviously like players on the wing, so it's all guess games at the minute. But I'm just going off on purely what Chelsea have done with the Gordon bit.
There's another one as well. Barkley plus 40 million might do it. Barkley back to Everton potentially.
Yeah.
Does anyone know if the shirt sale numbers mentioned included national shirts? It's very interesting, that one, because I don't know if you can remember a couple of shows ago, someone put in 2020 shirt sales. I think it was Daniel. I can't quite remember who it was, but it was like 620,000 shirts or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just a crazy amount of shirts. Maro and Pulisic is a great player to go with it as well. They dub him as the American Messi, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and he's the biggest star in America and sells really, really a lot of jerseys, and a lot of Americans followed Borussia before and Chelsea now just because of him. And also beside that, he's a great player, still young, and he played on the right wing for Borussia Dortmund, and he was really, that was the best period of his career. So he would be great option for the right wing, and also he would open so much market-wise. We would get a lot of new American fans, and we would sell a lot of jersey. They really like to buy jerseys, so it would be really smart move from both playing side and commercial side, definitely.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if Chelsea signed him just for that, to try and crack America, doesn't it? Because, I mean, he doesn't really get much of a game now. And it sounds weird talking about a player in that way, but that's what we've got to think about as well. It's not just about the starting 11; it's about what we can do off the pitch as well.
He's a good player though, as well. That's the good thing.
Great player.
There was a comment before about his wages.
Yes,
I don't think it matters. Yeah, I don't think it matters. Personally, I don't think it matters what any of the Chelsea players are on wages-wise. I think Chelsea will pay part of it. Yeah, I have no doubt they'll do it just to get them off the books. We'll probably pay 70% of the wage and they'll pay 30%.
Yeah, so that's what we said about 3-4 days ago, I think, when we started talking about Chelsea players. Steve did say, don't worry about the wages because Chelsea will have to subsidise most of them to get them off the books. So hell knows a Braithwaite. No. But I think it was not like Braithwaite. He was saying, do what, the deal like Braithwaite rather than Braithwaite himself. Persis Nickman's the LeBron James of soccer, they call him. There you go. That tells you how massive he is over in America. We're going for a wander. Let's have a wander around Gary's house.
I hope you're not going to the toilet.
No.
Brilliant.
I didn't want to upset you as well.
Right,
no,
let's talk.
Go on, sorry, that bloody sky glass. It just turns itself off, man, when you're on the bloody roof. Honestly.
Oh, does it?
I've got the banner up on the bottom and I'm trying to bloody get it flame and it just switches itself off, man. It's a bloody pain in the neck.
Brilliant.
Honestly.
Let's talk about Gary's boyfriend, Paqueta. So there was a lot of rumours going around. His price tag come down to 33 million plus 7 million add-ons to 40 million. That was a load of tosh, I'm afraid, which is a shame because it was all over Twitter and some big accounts were saying it. I got told today again this morning, 45 million for Paqueta. I still think that's not enough. What would you think, Gary? 45 million. I would just say, just get the deal done. Just hand it over ASAP. I
would just say, right, what, 45 million straight? Or is it just like a few add-ons on top?
It just says 45 million in the message. It just literally says, Paqueta, 45 million.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is what you do. you can buy Paqueta for £45 million, put the equity money towards it, put the money they've put on the table for Maddison, and go and loan 1 or 2 Chelsea players. There you go.
Yeah.
Window sorted.
Sounds good to me. I would do that. Maro, 45 million does seem a bit too short again in my eyes, though. It
seems, and as I said before, for me, Paqueta is a more complete player than Maddison. I think he would fit our system better. So I would pay for even 60 million for him, but it depends on our owners and FFP. But if I had to choose between those two players on a similar price, I would go for Paqueta any day.
Brilliant. I'll just quickly answer that. John, I mentioned at the start of the show, Brian, I don't know if you saw it or not, his whole household's got COVID. He's been really busy with work. But once Ebo at York is out the way, John will be featuring a lot more again. So just Ebo finishes on Sunday, I think. Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember when. What were you going to say, Gary? Sorry.
I think it was. It was about Paqueta, wasn't it? No, I was going to say. Look, if the bid for Maddison's still on the table, then just take that bid away from the table.
Yeah.
There you go. Problem solved. I mean, they've apparently put £45-50 million bid for Maddison. So I don't see any reason why you can't do that for Paqueta. So that gets me thinking, is it right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
I think it'd be straight in there for 45 if that was correct.
John's all right. I think it's the rest of the family who are still suffering because John's still going to work. But the next one is Maddison. Obviously, you mentioned him there. Same for James Maddison. This is the thing about Everton with Anthony Gordon left a verbal offer. Same for James Maddison. 50 million is on the table for James Maddison. That's the offer we've put in. I just don't get it. Paqueta, 45 million. James Maddison, 50 million. Apparently, Paqueta's better than Bruno, according to Leon fans. The whole Newcastle United fan base want Paqueta. Get it fucking done. But mind you, James Maddison is still quality. Don't get me wrong. You could easily toss a coin between the two of them, but we've all fallen in love with the idea of Paqueta and Bruno, being together on the same pitch. But this guy is still quality, Maro.
Yeah, and I had a thought from the start that we could possibly bring both of them to the team, and I always had a feeling that he might be targeted for the right wing position and Paqueta for the midfield position. So when we took that TV loan, it was 100+ million. I was really hoping that we will go for both, so that would be around the amount to get both of them. He's a quality. You can't argue that, definitely. It's just, as I said, my personal preference would be Paqueta, but in an ideal world, we will bring both, put Maddison on the right wing and Paqueta in the middle, and it would be a really, really creative team with those two in the side.
Welcome, Kevin. Thanks for joining us for the first time. I think it is for yourself. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Yes, the question here is Ramos from Benfica imminent. Not that I'm aware of, but we will talk about him very soon, so stay tuned. Maddison is Premier League proven. I read this wrong. I thought I was going to say Maddison is a pawn, and he could be a pawn in the move to get Paqueta done, because Leon will see we've got an offer on the table for Maddison, and if that gets accepted, we move away from Paqueta. So, Gary, are we trying to force Leon's hand maybe a little bit with that offer?
I think we're trying to force Leon's hand. But, look, Leicester fans will think I'm talking bollocks here, right? But I've got a sneaky fancy he wants to come. Now,
I think he has been heard. He's fallen out with Rodgers.
Yeah.
And he has been, I don't know if it's inside information or whatever it is, but he has been quoted that he does want to, from other players, he would fancy the move to Newcastle.
Well,
because hasn't he got the same agent as Wood and Trippier or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
And they've been speaking to him, or Paul Paz as well.
Yeah, Paul Paz.
Yeah.
And I find the Maddison deal bizarre, but I think they tried to like get Leon thinking, right, here we go. But I think they've had it back from Maddison, his agent, that he's interested in a move. I heard of, these like reporters, just like the Italian journalist about Botman, who said Botman only wanted Milan and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
I saw some, when this Maddison rubbish come out, that it's not going to happen. Maddison's on the verge of signing a deal. Well, that was 3 weeks ago and he still hasn't signed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So why is Maddison taking so long to sign this contract? Because I don't know, he could be pushing for a move somewhere else. I've got no idea. But I think Maddison's contract runs out soon. I think it's about a year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
2 years, I think.
2 years. So they're clearly, Leicester are going to have to make a decision on him at some point, because if they don't, they're going to have another Tielemans, which is going to go. I mean, I don't know what's happening to him. I mean, his contract runs out the end of the season. I think he's going to go on a free at some point if they don't sort him out. So Leicester don't seem to be in a hurry to get these players out, even though their contracts are on the verge of running out. But if they don't sort Maddison out soon either with a contract, or get rid of him now, they're going to miss out on more money with him.
Yeah.
And that's not a good business model from Leicester at all.
But Chelsea are also interested in 75 million for Fofana, though, aren't they? So they won't have to sell Maddison if they get that money from Chelsea. That's the problem. I think Leicester are playing that waiting game to see which deal goes through first, because they'll scrap one of them if one of them goes through.
Well, I tell you what, if you sell, I don't care if it's Maddison or Fofana, if you sell one of them, the other one's going to go, this club's going places, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're going to think.
I think Maddison won't sign his contract, and then you'll run it down to the last year, and then maybe get a move next season potentially. Yeah,
and they're going to miss out.
For this one, Jeff, I think Paqueta's the more versatile, to be honest with you. Let's just skip loads of. Really don't know. Yeah, we're up to about here, I think. That one. You've got some India. We're seeing that one. Paqueta all the way for Jan. Just that one. Maro, what's your thoughts on the whole situation with Maddison? Do you think that down the same lines he might run his contract down for maybe into his last year if he does want to move away? He's still young enough to do that and still get a big money move quite easily in January or next summer. But we seem to want him now, or is he being used as a pawn to get Paqueta? Because Leon will think, crap, we need money as well. We need to act now.
It could be any of those options, because these days football transfers are like a game of chess. It's so much tactics, so much information, false information. So I think we were too long in for him for a couple of weeks, bidding multiple times. I think it was maybe a bit too much just for if we weren't serious, but I think they are in a bit dangerous position. If you consider how much they paid for Tielemans, I think it was about 40 million. And if they let him go on a free, it really would be a bad move. And but as Gary said, they're probably waiting for the first one to go, either Fofana, Maddison, or Tielemans. So when they probably get money for the first player, that they won't sell the other two. The only option I could see is if one of them really wants to go, and it could maybe cause a problem. When you have unhappy player wanting to go, then it's the other thing. But
there we are, Kevin. That's where you're from. I'll let you answer.
So I'm from Croatia, but we have a joke. Somebody asked in the comments, "Am I Moldovan?" So we are joking about that. So I'm Croatian Moldovan.
Daka is a replacement for Vardy. They just need to give him a chance to start. Yeah, they do. It's what he drinks before games. Yeah, the Red Bull. Kevin, it's what Vardy has every day. 2 cans of Red Bull. He's probably got bloody shots in it as well. Hate Red Bull. Drink and F1 team are horrible. Have we made a decent bid, if any, for Paqueta? No, we haven't. We have had talks, which was on my little video. If you haven't seen it, Michael, I did a little inside scoop video. We have held talks with his representatives, and we found out how much Leon want. Steve says it's 45 million. I still think it's more than that. I really do. There we go, creation. Thank you. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? This whole Maddison Paqueta saga. It's been going on for a couple of weeks now. We all thought the Maddison deal was dead. Apparently, the bid is still on the table. I still think Paqueta is the main target, and they might be using Maddison as a pawn. Let's see how it plays out, and see if we get anything from Steve in the future about it, because it is an interesting situation. 2 more topics before we leave you tonight. But before we go on to them, for any new guys watching, if you are enjoying what you see from myself, Maro and Gary, we all feature on the shows almost all the time. Please hit that subscribe button. If anyone would like to become a member, please hit the link at the top of the chat. It should take you to the membership, which Brian's already done tonight. We offer 4 different membership types. We offer prizes and all this sort of stuff to go with it. So please consider that. We've got some free sponsors. This is my best mate, and his work is incredible. So if you want any carpentry or joinery work in the Northeast, please give him a contact. He's very, very good. He's very busy, but he is worth the wait. Trust me. And the missus sells all the perfumes, aftershaves, and all the other stuff that you can get from FM. I use all the products, and they're actually really good. And so that's why I use them. So please contact her if you would like anything. Let's get back into the chat very quickly, and we'll go on to the next target that we've got. Who do you think Amanda and Cole were eyeing at Stamford Bridge today? Gallagher, Pulisic, or Broja? I think Gallagher and Pulisic, which we've talked about. I think we all kind of agree with that, don't we? And potentially Hudson-Odoi, but it all depends on Everton. I think it's fair to say that Eddie Howe is wanting to add some English talent. I think that's true. But we've got English talent, guys, haven't we? We've got Paul, Byrne, Trippier, Longstaff, Anderson.
Second one.
Yeah, the 6. I mean, Murphy.
Oh, sorry, I was replying to the comment.
It's all right. Who is the team in Croatia that was Zagreb split, or is your Hajduk split, are you?
Hajduk split. Hajduk split, definitely.
I don't really know much about Croatian football, to be honest with you, but that's why you're a Newcastle fan, and that's why you're on here.
Yeah, because Croatian league is bad.
All football is good. Doesn't matter what league you're in. I joined in late. Can't see Anthony Gordon joining. He is too in love with Everton. So was Wayne Rooney, apparently, and look what happened to him.
It's not what I feel.
It all depends down to the manager, doesn't it? At the end of the day, that's why Rooney left, because he was sick of Moyes. And if Lampard's not Gordon's cup of tea, there's a very good chance he'll leave. Right, 2 more topics as promised. Ramos on the short list. Apparently 35 million going in. There's been lots of reports about 35 million bid. Apparently there's an English club already offered 30 million. I was told it wasn't us. Potentially Wolves, maybe. I don't know. Could be Man United. They're desperate. But we're considering a 35 million pound bid. We have been chasing them for a few days now. Gary, this is one that we've been chasing since the start of the summer window. We want a young, up-and-coming talent up front. Ekiteke was the one that, or Ikiteke, how do you pronounce his name? He was the one that the owners wanted. We thought we had him. We lost him. They're now scouring everywhere to find one. It seems to be Ramos as the hot target. Do we have a chance? Or are we literally trying to buy a young up-and-coming player, and we're not in the club's not in the situation it needs to be able to attract someone like him?
I think we can get him, but I think we've got to offer the right money. So no low ball bids to get things started. We're now 18 days till the window shut. So the negotiating hopefully has started. Now, the only thing I don't understand this deal is we seem to be like going to put a bid in and going to put in for days now. Are we going to put one in or not? You know what I mean? Or we're going to move on to somebody else. If somebody in England is put...
Apparently it's Leeds.
Well, I tell you what, if we kind of get him over Leeds, nothing against Leeds, but...
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There you go.
We're in the wind, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I mean, Christ, we want to be one of the best teams in Europe at some point. That's what the owners want to do. So This is nothing against Leeds United, but we'll have to beat Leeds United as signings like this. Gordon's a different thing altogether. That's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Sorry, go and get him. That's what Ashworth's paid to do. Go and get him.
Yeah.
And I've watched a bit of him. I didn't know much about him, so I decided to watch him. He's got 2 feet. He knows how to finish. He's quick. He gets into space. He'll be a big fan favourite up here. And I think he'll score goals in the Premiership.
Yeah, I think he will. And it just shows you the information that we get. Steve said it definitely wasn't us who made that bid. There was lots of accounts on Twitter saying we were the ones who made the bid. Just shows you we do get good stuff. And we're not always right. And I'll always say this. And we can only report on what we are told. You guys are in the group of Steve. You know he puts stuff in there all the time. And he messages me privately to give me more stuff. Because we're friends and we help each other out. But it just shows you that the information can be good. And it was good about the goalkeeper because we signed the goalkeeper 24 hours after telling you all about him. So you've just got to trust in what Steve says sometimes. I know it's difficult because there's loads of other people out there who have got good accounts and do good stuff, but Steve does good stuff as well. I agree with Gary. I do feel there's a good chance. Fabrizio Romero told us, I think. There we are.
Yeah, he did.
Hi, bars and guests. Which was the greatest ever Croatian team, World Cup 98 or World Cup 2018? Some legends in the 98 team.
I would say 2018. I prefer that team and some of the players. Luka Modric was on his high and really deserved the Player of the Year award. And we were so close, but France was just too strong.
Right, before I bring Maro into the conversation, guys, don't forget subscribe button, thumbs up button. If anyone would like to donate, $ in the bottom right-hand corner. Anything from £1 upwards would be amazing. It really helps the running costs for the channel and paying for the prizes that we like to give away. And don't forget to consider being a member, 99p or up to $4.99. It's up to you guys what you want to pay. It's what you think this channel deserves. But Maro, what's your thoughts on Ramos? It sounds like Leeds have put the offer in. We did say it wasn't us, but we are very interested. We've got to be beating Leeds to this player if that's the case.
I think if we offer same amount and Leeds, if both bids get accepted, that he would choose us over them. I think he's a great player and in a way very similar to Ekitike, so big and strong and on the same way he's also fast and has a very good technique. Can use both feet, good from inside the box, good outside the box, good nose for goals. I think he would be a great buy. But Benfica, they are really traditionally tough sellers. And I think we had, just the other day, we had like a photo of 10 of their players they sold in the last 10 or 15 years. All of 10 of them were bought for 5 million euros, and those 10 players were sold for almost 500. So they are great at spotting talent and selling them, obviously, and they won't let him go cheap because the same thing as they had with Darwin Núñez. He had practically one good season, and they sold him for almost 100 million. So it's not easy to deal with them, but on a good side, they have really lot of strikers. So. They have a lot of options. They have a couple of good youngs that the new coach really trusts. So they could be open to selling Ramos, and hopefully he'll come to Newcastle.
Yeah, fingers crossed. This is a great comment. Fabrizio is often correct. He is. He's one of the best accounts to follow. He's got like 2 million followers. I've only got 5,000. So he's got 2.8 million.
He's got 8.
8 million now.
I think so.
Jesus, he was 2.2 million about 3 weeks ago. And he's gone up to 8 million already.
Wow. Sure he's got 8.5 million or something now.
He probably
I could be wrong, like, but
he's literally the one to follow. But sometimes we get information before him, and then he confirms it, and it's just like, yes.
Yeah, I remember he got the Botman one and all, didn't he? Just like,
did. Oh, we got there first.
Oh, we did actually.
Yeah, we got first on Botman. That's what I'm very proud of, and I had to fight how many people every week to say Botman was coming? Every single show. It was mental. I went from 40-60 in favour of Milan to like 70-30 in favour to Newcastle. And I was like, look, it's going to happen. And it did.
Yeah. And they were all saying that he prefers to go to Milan, and in the end, it was the case of Lille wanting for Milan to jump so they can put the price up, and he wanted to come to Newcastle all the time.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And everyone said he wanted to go to Milan, apart from me.
Yeah.
Are we still after the young Brazilian forward, that Barbosa, I think they're talking about? I don't think we are. I don't think that's an option, which is a shame because he's good.
Yeah.
When I think of Croatia at France 98, I think of Bilic getting Blanc getting sent off. I can't remember that.
Yeah, and Lilian Thuram scoring his only 2 goals in, I think he had almost 140-50 caps, and only 2 goals when in the semi-final against Croatia.
Yeah, crazy. Some France side that as well, though, wasn't it? Ramos said he's very happy at Benfica, so it might be a harder deal to get over the line. There we go. That doesn't help. Just 33 likes. Yeah. Only 33 likes, guys. Come on, guys. Likes are completely free. There's 236 of you. Come on, smash that thumbs up button, guys. Maro is right. There's seen some graphic. I think I was talking about them being the most profitable club in the world. Who's that? Oh, Benfica, maybe. Potentially. If Newcastle truly want to be the best team out there, go to Dortmund and buy their 17, 18-year-old next Ronaldo. Yesufa Muku. We've talked about him a few times, haven't we? But he's got a goal record over 100 goals at 17. He's banging them in. Do you know what it is, though? How difficult would it be to go to Dortmund and say, right, we want to buy him? Because they're just going to go, 100 million.
They'll sell him. They'll sell him, but they'll want a lot of money from him. And
exactly.
We're not at the stage at the minute, by the looks of it, where we're going to pay that sort of money.
Whoa, Kevin, how old are you? Of course we've had a Croatian play forward. Savio Maric.
Yeah, who cost us our FA Cup final against Arsenal, if you remember. He missed 2 sitters. Terrible. Terrible.
I hope he's never been allowed anywhere near your holiday homes.
No.
You know what he did?
Yeah.
You know what he did do, though?
Go on.
He set up Shearer for the goal at Old Trafford.
For the Tottenham.
Semi-final.
Yeah. 10.9 million followers he has.
Bloody
That's still crazy. It's crazy.
500,000 each day.
He's only 1 million behind you now, Maro.
Yeah. In Jan, Tuma quoted what between 35-55 million for Diego Carlos, and then let him go to Villa for like 28. Yeah, and look what's happened to him. Gaza, that's so nice of you. £2.49 super sticker. It's amazing. If anybody else would like to donate, $sign in the bottom corner of the chat. As long as you signed in, you're able to do it. Baz and I said all along Sven was coming. Yes, you did, Jan. You were on my side, weren't you? Glad Botman started yesterday. Was worried he'll sit on the bench a lot. I think he would have if it wasn't for Target's dead leg. I think Botman would have been sitting on the bench again. But now Eddie Howe has definitely got a headache.
Yeah.
Well, it just shows you, doesn't it? Like a couple of injuries, and then all of a sudden, you look a bit light, don't you?
You do, yeah.
So, like, if Target's out, he clearly changed the formation to put Botman in there, Dan Burn at left back, but he didn't trust putting Paul Dunn in it.
Yeah, I mean, even with Dan Burn, I mean, you saw how much we missed Target. Yes, I know we're going a little bit off topic from transfers, but Target was always making those overlapping runs. Burn wasn't quick enough to be able to do that, and that's why Maxi got isolated, and he had free players around him a lot of the times because they knew Burn wasn't going to get up and down the pitch like Target can. So that's why all that happened. Carlos was a January backup target for us. We got a number 1 in Botman, so dropped interest in Carlos. Exactly. That's exactly what it was all about. Oh, yes, wasn't it Croatia that beat Denmark at Euro 96 at Hillsborough? Peter Schmeichel running across the whole pitch, then Suka scoring. Yeah, he lobbed him, didn't he?
Yeah.
I always
one of the best goals ever.
I always remember it.
Yeah. Amazing goal. He's a great player, but he's zero of a person. Really, he was a Croatian football president after football career, and the whole country hates him. Nobody loves him as after he finished as a player.
Yeah. That's going back to the Dortmund striker again. He's only 17. I don't think the player would want to jump away from Dortmund at that age. I think he'd be very happy in their amazing setup. It will be a hard deal to do because I just don't think he'll come to us. I really don't. Maybe when he's a bit older. I was born in 87, forgot marriage. So you're 34. So yeah, Savio Marriage, I always remember him. It should have been better than what he was.
Yeah,
Marriage cost quite a bit back for us. He did cost us quite a bit. Marriage was rubbish. No wonder I forgot him. Byrne did play well at left back. He's played left back plenty of times for Brighton. So yeah, go on, Gary. Sorry.
No, I was going to see Marriage go on about like players who should have done better. There's one lad who always sticks to me, and that's Hugo Viana.
Yeah, Viana was.
Yeah.
That lad had they were calling him like as good as Ronaldo at 2 point. It just didn't work, did it? Yeah. And he was one of the, and even Robson thought he had a gem on his hands, and it just
just didn't have the pace to really be an excellent player in the Premier League, did he? I mean, he was so gifted technically.
I mean, whenever anybody asks me, I mean, it's not Fiona, but when anybody ever asks me who's the biggest wasted talent you ever saw, I will say Kieran Dyer every time. Because Dyer should have been one of the best. Dyer was that good enough to be classed as a regular. Remember Kieran Dyer? He'd be on Sky shows. Kieran Dyer. Just too many injuries and this, that, and the other.
Yeah. And I heard he was shagging about and got thrown down some stairs was one of his injuries.
Yeah, every weekend.
Yeah. Considering our first team training facility are laughable, I can't imagine the lad will leave Borussia Dortmund for Newcastle, unfortunately. Exactly. I don't think he will. So who's getting dropped with target fit? Byrne or Botman? Different show to discuss that one. Tune in on either Tuesday. I might actually be off Tuesday night now. I might actually be able to join the Premier League show. But Wednesday, Gallagher Girls. Thursday or Friday, we'll be talking about the Man City game. So we'll talk about who's going to get dropped and all that sort of stuff. Then, if you remember, Spurs, Liverpool, Leicester, all told players off with stagger payments to be FFP. Yeah, there's no reason why we can't do that. It's just who we will do it.
I think we'll buy a Chelsea player.
Yeah, you could be
or loan. There'll be something. I don't know who it is yet. But
come on, 18 more thumbs up. 18 more thumbs up before we go. You do realise Juventus and other big teams' training grounds are worse than ours. Even Bayern is worse than ours. Yeah, but Borussia Dortmund is fantastic, though. And that's where he is. I think he might put Shaw in centre as a super role. We'll talk about that on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. I don't want to jump ahead, because then we'll have nothing to talk about. We definitely don't want to have nothing to talk about. But the last thing I want to talk about, part of the Banter show, is obviously ASM. Every single time we win a game, ASM's excellent. He's done his job today. He's been brilliant. We then go to Brighton. He gets ganged up on. He doesn't have target to release his runs, like we mentioned not that long ago. And everyone's slating him again. Get rid of him. Take 45 million. Blah, 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 blah. What, Maro, our fan base, why are we so, the polar opposite, I guess? When there's a win, ASM's great. If there's a draw or a loss, ASM needs to be sold. It's been 2 games. Eddie Howe's had a full summer with him. We've got to give this guy a chance, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the problem when you get a player that that has so much potential and that that can play have great games, can put the crowd on their feet, and that he has the potential to become one of the best. And then when he has a bad game, it's even bigger disappointment than some regular guy. But well, for me, I think he's in some kind of a transition period. So he was asked to change his game. He dribbled too much last season. He shot sometimes when he should have passed. I think he's now trying to pass more often than he should. So there were a couple of situations where he would do last season, he would shoot without hesitation, or he would go on a dribble and he tries to find some strange passing or some strange pass. So for me, I think he's over trying at the moment, and he just needs to find a balance, that balance in passing and shooting, dribbling ratio. For me, yesterday he had a couple of situations where he did surprise me defensive wise. Sometimes he ran, he even tackled once to get the ball, and but I must say that he did disappoint me yesterday with that blatant dive, because usually
that was terrible, wasn't it?
It was really terrible, and that's one of the reasons I like him as a player, because he really stays on his feet where most of other players would go down. He's really going on, and he goes down only when there is a hard tackle or something. He really takes a lot of blows, and so that was really terrible dive. I really don't like divers. And
Mickey did it as well, though, didn't he? And got away with it, because I saw him laugh as well, because he knew he won a foul, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, definitely. So I just think with Maxi, it's that thing of finding the right balance in his game. But for me, there's already in the preseason and these games, there's already change in a way that we want him to. So we want him to put a bit more effort in defense, and we wanted him to pass more. So I think he already showed willingness to go in that direction. He just needs to find the balance, and I think we should support him, because when he gets all things right, I think he'll be a great player and have a great season.
Yeah, I agree. I've just got to put this up before I get your thoughts, Gary, because I think it's really funny. Paul, you're late. You missed the start of the show. Off topic, who do you think will win the Ballon d'Or? And Nick Pope. Absolutely brilliant. Yes, the Nick Pope running joke 2 days ago, something to do with Burger King. Yeah, so basically Burger King were running a poll. If 2 options on their menu, what do you like best? And Toon Pauls is a massive Nick Pope fan. He put on there saying Nick Pope, and it just went nuts. Basically, that's how it all happened. So yeah, one of those things. Gary, your thoughts on ASM?
Frustrates the bloody life out of us, that man, at times.
He was missing target, though, wasn't he? And this is people are saying he got found out. He didn't get found out. He struggled because he didn't have his best mate with him. Yeah,
I think. Look, none of our attackers were up to scratch against Brighton.
No,
none of them. Bruno wasn't up to scratch, so you can't expect him to be up to scratch if the rest aren't either. I'm willing to give Maxi the full year. He needs the full year. And I said at the start of the season that this will be his year. I'm going to stick with it. But do you know what it is? We seem, our fan base, they seem to have a problem with Newcastle wingers.
Yeah.
Right? That seems to be the position that people have an issue with. Well, that's Miggy. It was Robbie a few years ago. It's Maxi now. It seems to be the wingers
Chris
that
Wood.
get... Yeah, Chris Wood. They seem to get the brunt of it, the wingers, whoever we are. But I have to admit, I'm going to... if Maxi has an off-season come the end of next season, I can see them getting rid of him.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't perform this season, I think we all said it might be time to get rid of him, to be fair.
Yeah, and I
think this is going to be his season, to be fair. Roy, honestly, unbelievable. Every show, he's always there with his 50 Corona. It's so generous of you, mate. But please only do it if you can afford it. I want anyone, whoever donates, please only do it if you can afford it. It's not exactly a great time in the current climate and all that sort of stuff. But you're an amazing guy, Roy, and we're looking forward to getting you on the show when you feel confident enough to come on one. I wish I'd hit that 100 golf.
There's a name we haven't mentioned tonight who, interestingly, wasn't in the starting lineup of the squad yesterday for Marseille, and that's Dean.
Yes. So someone asked about him today with me, and Steve didn't mention anything about him. So it's very interesting that he's not in it.
Don't know what's happened, but not even in the bench, apparently. So
They are inverted wingers. Yes, they are. Maxi never plays well against top teams because he ain't good enough. The teams in the bottom half of the Prem, he plays okay against. I disagree with that. He had a great game against Man United last season, and they were top 6 team, weren't they?
he's just not consistent enough, is he?
Consistent,
That's
yeah.
his problem. He's just, last season, Everton at home demolished Everton, terrorised them.
Yeah.
Had one of his best games in a black and white top.
Yes,
But there's not enough of them. There's just not enough of them. And if he was more bloody consistent, he wouldn't be getting this stick. And it's consistency with me with him.
Yeah. And this is a funny, again, you're entitled to your opinion, but Spurs and Chelsea were actually interested in Maxi and asked about his availability to us. So that tells you that they were actually after him because they know there's a talent in there. Solano was class. Solano was awesome. That's why he came back a second time.
Yeah.
But Maxi does frustrate us, but it's only been 2 games. 2 games. And again, he was missing Target yesterday. If we have an attacking left back, I know Target's not the greatest crosser or finisher in the world, but he gets up and down that left-hand side to give Maxi an out ball. Burns couldn't do it.
Concerning Target, whether he's going to be in, I don't want to go too much in about it, but I think Target will come back into the lineup against Man City, right? Which could free Maxi. Because if we're going to get anything of Manchester City, then the big lads have to turn up, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. So, yeah, exactly. But if we sell Maxi for 45 million, what's been quoted, we need to spend 60 million to replace him. So we're actually 15 million out of pocket then, aren't we?
And the way we bid for some players at times.
John, to be honest with you, all the names being mentioned, it's quite a small pool at the moment. We've talked about a lot of different names because they're available, but a lot of the names, like I mentioned, I'll just recap very quickly about what we've talked about. Gallagher on loan or 35 million, Paqueta 45 million. Apparently, I still think that's a wrong price. I think it's 60 million. Ramos 35 million. I still think that's too cheap as well. There's also Anthony Gordon and James Maddison. They're the only names we've mentioned. They're the ones that we're looking at. So there isn't that many names flying around anymore. And even Eddie Howe came out and said it's a small pool of players that we're looking at, and it's becoming difficult to do deals. You've just hit the nail on the head. He's not consistent enough. Too much time spent on his backside. I just think he's a on his day he can beat anyone. That's the problem, and that's what we like to see. Just send one back to New Zealand. 5 at the head. I knew someone would come up with that, and that's what I want to talk about on Friday because I think we will go 5 at the back.
So do I.
Imagine ASM in a side with Fernandes and Ronaldo, arms waving like. I love it. I would prefer 2-2 Man City. I would take that now. Chelsea bought Sterling for goals. Barry Saint Werner going Chelsea because Sterling is light years ahead of Saint and same age. Sterling's older, isn't he? Than St Maximum. Maxi's only 25. Sterling's like 28, 29 now. Big difference in age, that. Sorry, just got him from work. It's okay, John. Just watch it from the start, mate. I think Newcastle should go for Harry Winks. No one wanted him. No, sorry. Move on. Sterling plays a top false 9 role and still hasn't scored. Not even a shot on target. He missed a good sitter today as well. Eyes only 3 days a year, though. All right. I'm terrified about Man City, even if it's James's Park. Chelsea bought Sterling because they are flexing. 5-3-2. We're going to talk about that. I don't think it'll be 5-3-2. I think it'll be close to that. I think it'll be 5-4-1. Would Calvin Lewin be a good signing? Nope, he's injured. I think we dodged a bullet with him, guys. Do you agree?
Yeah, completely. I never wanted him. Wanted him.
Well, I would have been open to it had, if he was past his injury record, but he doesn't seem to be past his injury. So
I'll tell you what, if he is 50 million, right, then go and buy Ivan Toney for 45.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Toney is... Do you know what it is? I wasn't sure about Ivan Toney, but after watching him this season so far, he's an absolute pain in the arse for defenders.
Yeah.
And but I know some people are starting to like panic with, the transfers and all that, but to me, this seems like January. It's very quiet.
It's getting towards like January, right at the very end.
Yeah, and then
Still
it went
27. Really? Well, Max is only 25, so he's still got 2 years on him. Copy that seems forgotten. Calvert-Lewin's definitely not coming. How on Chelsea breaking FFP rules? God knows. There must be a reason. It's got to be doing with the debt being wiped, hasn't it?
Well, me and Maro mentioned that the day about Nottingham Forest. I'm going to shirt sponsor. So
I reckon they'll get a big shirt sponsor if they're actually not in that relegation battle, to be fair. But I think there will be. I want a clean sheet against City. Doesn't everyone? It's not going to happen.
Nah, nobody gets a clean sheet.
Stop picking on Wood. He's just lacking confidence, talent, and any football skills at all. John Noble, I would question Everton more. Yeah, I would. I lost my bet builder for £280 all because Sterling couldn't hit the target. Useless. Unlucky. What about Marcus Rashford or Mikel Antonio? Antonio's never leaving West Ham. I would definitely take Rashford, though. What about you guys?
I would not.
No to Rashford?
No, for me, he would be on really huge wages, and for me, he's a bit overrated. I know he has potential, but last season he had the worst average rating than even Lascelles, Murphy, and I wouldn't.
No? Gary?
No.
Yeah. Purely based on the fact that I think there's a player in there, and Man United are in such a mess at the minute that I think you could probably put Messi in his prime on that side, and
it's
still struggle. Yeah, not that bad. Do you know what it is? Man United fans will probably agree with this. They're the worst team I've seen this season so far. And I've watched loads of games. They're the worst team by a mile.
Wow.
I know.
Very quickly before we talk about what Cuppy's just said, just a massive shout out to Craig Howells. We did this on the last show, but he hasn't watched it yet, and he's watching tonight live. So hope you're having a good evening, mate. Hope you're enjoying the show. And like I said on the previous one, if you ever see us outside St James's Park, if you're lucky enough to get a ticket when I'm there as well, please come and say hi. And we're always open. Use the comment section as well if you want to interact. You're more than welcome to. And I hope you hit the thumbs up button for this show, which I'm sure you do. Patrick Bamford from Leeds and Vardy. Patrick Bamford, worse injury record than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's injured again. He's a massive no for me, and Vardy's just too old for me now. I wouldn't take either of them.
Oh, it took 44 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, definitely.
But definitely not now. Maro?
I like both of them, but I think Leeds would ask too much for Bamford, and Vardy is too old, and I think they even wouldn't let him go, even if he is. So I don't think they're
injured more times than Wilson, though.
That's true, but still, if we offered, I think they would ask too much, even though.
Yeah.
So
I just wouldn't take him. I would. Yeah, he's another one that Wilson's trying to overtake to go to England as well, and I think he will. As long as he can carry on scoring. No, I haven't heard about Barnsley shirt sponsor. If any of you guys know what's going on there?
No,
neither do I. Jesus Christ, there's loads of comments flying in. It's because Chelsea generate about 300 million a season. There you go. There it is, FFP straight away. It's not even a problem.
Right, but you know how we keep getting told that you cannot have this much from sponsors? Where are they getting 300 million from?
Yeah, but they've had it all before all these regulations came into place.
All right, so they just introduced them now, did they?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Man City as well. All their sponsorships are already in place. So there was a thing on Sky Sports about FFP with Chelsea. They can spend over 300 million in this window, apparently.
We can.
We can. We just don't want to.
We just don't want to because it'll affect windows in the future.
Yeah.
But
it will affect us because we haven't got the sponsorships yet. It probably won't affect Chelsea because they do have the sponsorships.
Yeah. But I think at some point when we get our sponsors, they're just going to have to go in aggressive.
Yeah.
Because I think at times, at the minute, they're just a bit cautious, which is understandable at times. But at some point, they're going to have to go in and go, right, we want, whether that's Ramos or whoever, that's the guy we want, we're going to get him. Liverpool are brilliant at it. If they want a player, they can get him.
Yeah.
Simple
Yes,
as
I
that.
know. We're trying. It's frustrating. We've just got to trust them because we don't know the full effects of FFP.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
But I have no doubt that they will. Tell you what, it's same as January. At some point in the next week and a half, you'll see some players come through the door.
Yeah,
I said one a couple of days ago, but after seeing the owners at the ground the day at Chelsea, 2 or 3 for me.
Yeah. Hello, Ashen. Thanks for joining. Barca, would you sell Maxi to buy Paqueta or Ramos? If that was the only way we could get those deals done,
yes,
I would probably sell Maxi to get Paqueta. Not too sure about Ramos, though.
I think he's on about them both.
All right. If it's to get both of them, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, I would sell Maxi straight away to get them
Absolutely.
two. Yeah, Maro?
Probably not.
What?
No, I would keep Maxi, take Gallagher on loan and Pulisic, and then next season go back for Paqueta.
They're not an option, though. They're not an option. The option is, would you sell Maxi to get them two now? That's
then
yes
probably
no
not, because for 2.5 seasons he was our main player. He was probably one of the biggest reasons we were kept in we haven't been relegated, and I think he just needs at least one full season with Eddie Howe and full preseason I think he deserved that. So no.
That's fair enough. I just think those two players for one.
I know.
I think it's too good to turn down. I really do. Does Howe really want Paqueta? I think he does. Who wouldn't want Paqueta? Signed a deal with a company called Hex. 2 games into the season, they have cancelled it as the owners were sending racist and homophobic tweets. No way. That's terrible. Wow. That's for Barnsley, by the way, in the sponsorship. Could have had Dennis Okone, but Forest and West Ham got them both. Surely another striker needs to be considered. If Wilson gets in, we can rely on Wood getting 15 plus goals. We've talked about this. You know,
this is why I think they've got something lined up.
Yeah,
because of these deals, because we didn't go for them.
Yes, we
That's
all.
why
heard
I think
about
there's
Rio.
something lined up.
Yeah, I do as well. Why can't we get Paqueta? Oh, you've just repeated yourself. Don't do that, please. I get to the comments as quick as I can. I don't skip them. I think the NFC journey will be far more interesting than West Millwall, Chelsea, and Man City. Not the brightest as Rio, is he? Nope, not at all. Definitely. Oh God, the comments are flying in. I'd sell Maxi to get a hamburger. Oh God, that's a bit wrong. Good evening. Oh, sorry, I'm late. Thanks for joining us again, Davey. Watch from the start. We've missed everything. Remember about Adidas paying you 500 million for a 5-year spot? I would love that. Mario having a Maro. Ziyech would be a good signing for the Magpies. I think he would be. I think all 3 Chelsea players would be, to be fair. Forest will not be able to spend in January over the next few years. They went all in. They have. They've put all their cards on the table and gone for it. It's like basically playing a hand of poker. You've got your cards on the table. You haven't even looked at them. You've just gone all in. And you hope you've got a pocket aces, even though you've never looked. Once Anderson gets his first start, Maxi will struggle to get back in the team. Hey, there's Craig. Thanks, Spaz. You made my day. I thought I was dreaming. Mate, we're just regular guys, just stupid enough to go in front of a camera and do YouTube. We're no different to anybody else. We just love the tune like everyone, and we're glad you guys joined in on the chat, because if you didn't join in on the chat, probably the 3 of us would talk for about a half an hour, then there'll be nothing else to talk about. So, you know, we appreciate everyone who makes a comment, because it helps to keep the show going. And it's gone on a lot longer than I expected, because it was meant to be an hour and 15 minutes, and we're now into an hour 38 minutes, because I can't get rid of all these chats. That Napoli striker who plays for Italy would be good too. Who's that, Maro?
I think he probably thinks about Insigne, but he's gone to Canada now.
Oh, is he?
He's signed with Toronto.
Oh, that's a bit weird. Why would he go there?
A bit older. He's 32 or 3, something like that.
Last comment there. No, they'll just wear gloves. This is so true about, you know, coming to the Premier League. You saw Robert wear gloves. You know, there's been plenty of Brazilians in our league. Some of them really hard who didn't wear gloves. Remember the one for Arsenal? Who was the one that played in midfield for Arsenal? Gilberto.
Gilbert.
Yeah, he was Brazilian. He didn't even wear gloves. There you go. Barry, let's do a 24-hour chat thing. Only kidding. I would love to do a 24-hour chat if I could stay up that long. Muriel, is that him?
He's a Colombian. He's Colombian and he's from Atalanta.
Atalanta.
Yeah, Atalanta. There we go. I knew there was. Yeah, just don't look at the clock. Keep going. No, it's time to leave you all. It's been absolutely amazing doing the show as always. You've made it go on longer. Love the chat. Join us again. Go to Pete's channel on Tuesday night because that's where we're going to be hosting the Premier League review show. It's normally on this channel, but me and Pete have come to an agreement to share it because I work night shift on a Tuesday, which stops me from doing it. So we're going to do it 1 week on his, 1 week on mine, and I'll be on one of them because I'll be on his, and it'll be a Tuesday that I'm off, so I'll be able to help out. Wednesday we've got Gallagher Girls returning. That's going to be a great show with the girls. And Belinda will be making an appearance as always. Thursday or Friday, we're going to look ahead to the Man City game. I might even be on Saturday potentially if I can find a Man City fan. And we'll also try and squeeze in the fans forum as well. We've obviously done a show nearly every night this week, apart from on Wednesday. So, you know, we all need a break as well. But we have really enjoyed this one tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. And please tune in to Pete's channel on Tuesday and then back on here on Wednesday night. And we'll hope to see as many of you as possible. Hit that subscribe button, consider becoming a member, and hit that thumbs up. But thanks for joining, everyone. Take care.
Bye, guys. And Nick Pope.